Hi YouTube. I'm here again in my recording studio to talk about some things. This is going to be another long form talking video. So I got my drink. So if you read the title, you know what this video is about already, but it's about the disturbing movie Iceberg. I hate this thing a lot, and it's not relevant anymore, so I feel like it's okay to talk about it without being swarmed by angry 14-year-olds and the like. I think this is a very harmful little picture. And so I wanted to... I think I'm going to go through the movies on here and talk about them and how I feel about them, and and maybe how the reactions from this iceberg have made me angry. Yeah. If you haven't already seen my other movie video, I'm going to link it here somewhere, probably here is where it pops up now, so that because there's going to be a lot of me saying, oh, I talked about this in my movie video, and I just watch that first if you haven't, so you're not confused. I'm going to kind of skip over the first two tiers on the iceberg. So you got, in the first one, in the first level, you have Friday the 13th, The Conjuring, Child's Play, Annabelle, Nightmare on Elm Street, The Ring, Scream, Insidious, and The Grudge. They're all horror movies. Everybody knows them, even if you haven't seen them. I haven't seen that many of them. Running your horror movies. And then the next one is, it's got the little stick figure guy with slightly longer hair. We've got The Hills Have Eyes. Pretty good movie. Weird inbred hillbillies. Tusk. The Human Centipede with a Walrus. Midsommar. Silly little Swedish cult movie that came out in like 2019. Hostel. I think, brandished the concept of torture porn. It's not really porn. Oh, I'm gonna just say the words. I'm not gonna censor them or say use coded language. I'm just gonna say them because I'm not monetizing anything on this channel, and I have 12 subscribers. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I love that movie. That movie's great. I love the second one even more. House of a Thousand Corpses. Tonally a lot like the second Texas Chainsaw, and also stars his name that I'm blanking on it. The guy that plays Chop Top. He plays Otis in House of a Thousand Corpses. I love this movie. I used to watch it every year on Halloween. Saw. Everybody knows Saw. Also big torture movie series. I've seen all of them. And then The Human Centipede, which, funny enough, I was deliberating on just making a video about that movie instead of this, and then I thought to do this instead. I love The Human Centipede. I talked about it in my other movie video, and I think the second and third one also great pieces of cinema. Tom Six is really a genius, a genius with a camera. So those are all the concept usually with these icebergs, and it's true for half of this one, is that this is the normie stuff that everybody knows, and then as you go down it's more and more inaccessible, and then if you know the stuff on the bottom, then you're cooler than everybody else, which is, this kind of does that, but then halfway through it turns into like what do we have? We've got like found footage gore movies, shockumentaries, Japanese fetish porn, and then mixtapes, which is they're just grouped by category. They're not whatever. Next, we're below the water now, and the stick figure has even longer hair, and he's not smiling anymore. Salo, or the 120 Days of Sodom. You know how I feel about that movie. It's my favorite movie ever. On a Reddit thread, somebody said that I made a Reddit post complaining about this. I'll link it in the description if you want to read it. In that Reddit thread, somebody commented, or no, the other very famous video about this Iceberg. He said that that movie is based on true events. It's not. It's based on a book by the Marquis de Sade. Its political commentary around World War II and fascism was purely the doings of the director. And to my knowledge, the four libertines that kidnapped the kids in that movie never existed. And yeah, the whole concept of taking 18 children to a chateau in the middle of World War II to subject them to 120 days of sexual torture is never didn't happen, and it wasn't recorded as a real event if it did. Anyways, Martyrs. That's another one of my favorite movies. It's one of the French extremity movies, French New Wave extremity, whatever it's called, from like the 2000s. That's the best one, I think. Pink Flamingos honestly shouldn't even be on this list. It's just a silly John Waters movie, the one that everybody knows. So good. I saw a live comedy set from John Waters last winter. The Human Centipede 2, I talked about that one. Even better. Tetsuo the Iron Man. Crazy Japanese cyberpunk movie. Artistic, awesome, cool. Kind of gay, which is even cooler. I saw that one in the theater. A Serbian film. I don't think I talked about that one in my other video, but that's another one of the big ones. If you ever look up a top 10 most disturbing movies of all time, the top 3 on the list will always be in some order. At least back in the day, I haven't looked at any now, but it would be a Serbian film, Cannibal Holocaust, and Salo. A Serbian film is really famous for I guess it's not on screen. A newborn child is raped, and the guy shouts "newborn porn." It's very silly. Everything in that movie is really over the top, and it's like political commentary on the Serbian censorship laws in their media or something. I'm not Serbian, I don't know, but it's got something, and it's a very well-made movie. Cannibal Holocaust, I talked about that one ad nauseum. Ruggero Deodato recently died last week. He was alive when I filmed my other video, but he died last week, and I am heartbroken. I've been watching more of his movies lately. House on the Edge of the Park is so good. I think everyone should watch that movie, as well as Jungle Holocaust, which is not Cannibal Holocaust. It is another entry in his cannibal series, the third being Cut and Run, which is not good. He's not immune to criticism just because he's dead. Shoju Tsubaki, I believe that's Midori. I'm gonna Google it just in case. If it is Midori, really cool little animated piece of media based on either a manga of the same name or like a Japanese folk tale or a tale of some kind, from like the early 20th century. Um, am I gonna be wrong? Nope, I'm not wrong. It is. Sorry about that. Yeah, Midori. And it's a beautifully fun animated little short film anime. It's just cool. Um, yeah, there was a really crappy movie that they made in like 2016, I think. Like a live action movie. Bad. Don't watch it. Suicide Club. I actually haven't seen that one, but I've heard plenty about it. And then The House That Jack Built, my second favorite Lars von Trier movie, is problem. I talked about Lars von Trier as well in my other video. He did Dancer in the Dark, that one depressing musical. The House That Jack Built is about a serial killer, a really egotistical, narcissistic serial killer. It's a silly movie. If you take it too seriously, it's not a good movie, but you need to not take it seriously. It's a good time. Um, so yeah, the fourth level, now the stick figure has a goatee and his hair is even longer. Um, so this is simulated snuff, I think, is this category. Yeah, yeah. And I haven't seen all of these, but I'm aware of most of their reputations, at least. Going to start with the elephant in the room, slow torture puke chamber, slaughtered vomit dolls, and regurgitated sacrifice. Lucifer Valentine's infamous vomit gore trilogy. These suck, and that director, not a good guy. There's a whole thing going on with that. I'm not here to say anything. They're just not great. I'm not a fan of them. There's a weird little, I don't know, again, I don't know if it's still a thing, but back in the day on like Tumblr, there was a weird little community of like teenage girls who were like they made liking those movies their whole personality trait, their whole personality. It was really bizarre. They looked like Lucifer Valentine's word was like gospel to them. I'm not going to say too much more about that. Yeah. Let's see. August Underground. You know how I feel about those. I love the August Underground movies. I've met Fred Vogel. I talked about this a lot in my other video. I think this only cites the first one, but I am talking about all three. Four if you include the mega cut. I love August Underground. Guinea Pig. That could be talking about any of them. There's like 7 of them. I'm assuming it's the first 2. Everyone writes off the rest of them as like garbage. I like the rest of them. The first 2 are very like simulated snuff, wacky kooky stuff. The second one famously Charlie Sheen thought was real, and he like called the FBI or whatever. And I'm sure if you watched it now, you'd be like, how on earth, Charlie Sheen, how did you think that? Because the effects are good, but you have to be stupid to think that this is real. I think he watched it in like the 80s or the 90s or something, or whenever after this came out, and he was definitely watching it on like a 5th generation boot. So like a VHS of a recording of a VHS, like it was so degraded, it was really hard to tell. So cut the man some slack. Necromantic, I showed you my box set. I like Necromantic. Necromantic is good. Where the Dead Go to Die, I don't like that movie. I've seen it twice. It's like a weird, it looks like Xavier Renegade Angel, that one like weird Adult Swim animated show, but it's like really edgy and gory and like it's just silly. I can't take it seriously, but it's also like not silly enough for me to think it's like actually silly. It no, not a good movie. Not worth your time. Um, Melancholy de Engel. I've not seen that one, but I've seen an embarrassing amount of Marion Dora's filmography. Um, Carcinoma, Cannibal, uh, Debris Documentar. I'm probably blanking. I've seen a good few of his movies. I I can't get behind him. I'm not gonna watch Melancholy de Angel because, or Angel's Melancholy in English, because um, it's like 2.5 hours long, and people are just like peeing on each other, and there's like animal cruelty and stuff, and I think that's fine in movies if it's like pre, I don't know, like 1995, because that was like the norm. But now I feel like if you're killing animals for the sake of a film, in like the 21st century, you're really just trying to be edgy, and you're trying and failing to hearken to a bygone era of filmmaking. Um, and it's just weird. He kills cats in that movie, and I have a cat. I like cats, so yeah. Um, Philosophy of a Knife. I think it's what, like 4 hours long, 4 hour war documentary about, jeez, I think in Japan, like things that they did in prisons. And I might be getting it a little bit confused with Men Behind the Sun, which is not on here. Um, I haven't seen it, but I know it's very long, and like half of it is just establishing shots with like no dialogue. And the gore set pieces are cool, but it really needs to be cut down. And then, yeah, I haven't seen or know much about the rest on this tier. Wish my roommate was here. He could talk about some of these. Life and Death of a Porno Gang, Snuff 102, Juvenile Crime. I'm only human. You can make fun of me for acting like I am allowed to have opinions on things when I haven't seen everything on this list. Next we have. Okay, so that was the simulated snuff. This is like, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know. There's like a connection here. Half of they're like watching a woman get like tortured on a bed, which is weird because that's what what Guinea Pig does. But anyways, that's like the connection in a lot of these that I'm thinking. Woman's Flesh, My Red Guts. I actually only recently watched this one. It was pretty good. It was really bloody, silly. My Chan's Daily Life, the movie, is based on a manga, um, but it's good. It's really silly. They're all in like weird cosplay. It's like the costumes are almost like in GSKD, the like weird blood fetish porn trilogy. Like they've got weird silly Victorian. No, they wear like whatever. I like my Chan's Daily Life. It's silly. Ostermontag, or Easter Monday in English. Not a fan. The last it feels like they shot the end of that movie, like the gore and like rape set piece, where he like, it's cool. It's really cool. He has a woman in like a Playboy bunny costume on a bed, and she's like tied up, and can't remember if she's already dead or not, but he starts raping her after he's like cut her stomach open, and when he climaxes, it like it like leaks out through her stomach because her stomach was cut open. It's cool. Um, I like the last 10 minutes of that movie for that reason. but it feels like they built the whole movie around to make it like more of a runtime, and I don't even think it's 90 minutes. I won't ever watch that one again. Let's see, Tumbling Doll of Flesh. First time around, I watched this like 5 years ago, 4 years ago. I wasn't too crazy about it, but a couple months ago, I gave it a rewatch. It's good. I have it on DVD. We have two copies of it actually. Two copies of it. Yeah, it really grew on me. It's really fun. It's really silly. Um, Tamakichi Naru, the director, I watched another. He did a lot of scat porn as well as this is another like Tumbling Doll of Flesh is a woman being, cut to pieces and raped on like a bed too. But this movie is famously like the first half of it is like real porn. It's silly. It's fun. But Tamakichi Naru also directed another film. I think this is what other people have coined for it. I don't know if this is what he intended, but Tumbling Doll of Shit. It's what it sounds like. But it's not. It's not like anything like Tumbling Doll of Flesh. It's just a name. It's just your run of the mill scat porn. But the scat doesn't really happen until close to the end. There's a really nauseating saliva scene towards the beginning. First, I can't do saliva. It's gross. Anyways, good movie. The Necrophiles. I feel like the Necrophiles belongs on the tier above this one. That's just it's a silly SOV gore horror movie. Reminds me a little bit of Fetus. Yeah. Girl Hell 1999. I feel like I've seen it and I forgot it because it's very similar to a lot of other, Japanese woman getting tortured. It might not even be that. Sorry. I can't remember if I've seen it or not. Eccentric Psycho Cinema. Haven't seen it. The Gateway Meat has been on my watch list for a while. Haven't seen it though. And then The Taming of Rebecca I also haven't seen. Next. So this is the shockumentary version. Also, yeah, so he had a full neck beard and like a double chin, and now he's in the dark and he's got like hollow cheekbones and like a full-on beard. This is the shockumentary category, and I had a whole shockumentary category, I think. Yeah, I did. I only talked about Tsurasaki Kiyotaka. Yes. Tsurasaki Kiyotaka. It's like, is that the right name? So, yeah, this is the shockumentary category. So this is there's a mix. Faces of Death. I feel like everybody knows Faces. My mom knows about Faces of Death, and my mom hates gory movies. And then Traces of Death, I'm pretty sure is very similar. Faces of Death is good. I like Faces of Death. Mondo Kane. Remember when I talked about Goodbye Uncle Tom? This was directed by the same guys. And Goodbye Uncle Tom was their response to people saying that their two Mondo Kane films and Africa Audio, which is on here, I'll talk about that in a minute, were racist. And they were like, look, we can make a movie about racism that's not racist. And they only proved more that they're a little bit socially inept when it comes to... I'm sure it's a more nuanced issue, but it was just really funny to see it happen. Read about it. It's interesting. And I don't support anything that these guys did. But yeah, Mondo Kane is like a weird social commentary of like, look at how weird and savage these people in Asia are. They eat dogs and they kill animals and blah blah blah, and then they like contrast it with like grotesque American capitalism and consumerism culture. Hold on. Sorry, I had to turn the vent off because it was very loud. One of my subscribers said that they didn't like the sound, so this one's for you, subscriber who I won't name. Where was I? Mondo Kane. Yeah, the themes. I don't know. These weird Mondo movies it's funny. You could draw like a line. You had the shockumentaries and like Mondo movies, and then the Mondo movies were like a direct influence for Cannibal Holocaust. Because Cannibal Holocaust was kind of criticizing the same thing, but more effectively of like who are the real savages. And then Cannibal Holocaust influenced two things. There was a whole cannibal genre in the 80s. Ty West's Green Inferno, I think, is the most recent example. That came out in like 2009. That movie's lame, but it wears its influences on its sleeve, which is commendable. And then, as I said, found footage movies. We would not have Blair Witch without Cannibal Holocaust, and then Blair Witch obviously skyrocketed found footage into the mainstream. Not that I'm not trying to gatekeep any of this, but I hope you understand what I mean. It became more of a publicly accepted form of media, I guess. Yeah. Isn't Megan is Missing a found footage movie? I see all you teenagers on TikTok thinking that's like the scariest movie ever. If it is a found footage movie, you can thank Cannibal Holocaust for that, and then you can also thank Mondo Kane. Anyways, so yeah, I'll talk about Africa Audio. It was directed by the same people, Mondo Kane, Goodbye Uncle Tom, and it was about the decolonization of Africa. I have, there's two cuts of it. There was the director's cut, and then there's the American, whatever, there's like an English dub cut, that was cut down a lot, and that one's called Africa Blood and Guts. I need to watch it still. I really want to watch it. I have the director's cut. I want to watch it. It's just really long. But you heard the premise of it, and you can see why that might be problematic when two like Italian guys roll into Africa and like film all of that. Yeah. And then name it Africa Blood and Guts or Goodbye Africa for the direct whatever. Junk films. I like junk films a lot. I would say this is also Tsurusaki Kiyotaka. Orozco the Embalmer and the Rare movies. This is his most like accessible movie, or like most. Yeah, it's the most like no. It's hard to say. It's good. It's good. It's very heartfelt at the end, weirdly, but there's background to some of the things that's happening. But you still have like the Rare kind of stuff where it's like, here's a guy who just got into a horrible car accident and now we're filming his dead body. Crazy. The Roscoe the Embalmer's on here too. I talked about that one a lot. Embalming documentary. Death File Red. Yeah. I don't know why only Red is on here. There's a bunch of Death File movies. I've seen Black, Yellow, and Red. I think Black is my favorite because it's kind of funny. There's like a weird corporophagia thing that happens in that one, but um, yeah, Death File Red is one of those like Japanese tapes of like different recorded deaths. There's also like Death Body is one of them. I have all of these. Death Body. Rare is kind of like that too, but the difference with Rare is that like the same guy filmed all of those with these ones. There's a name for them, and I'm like blanking on it right now. It's just like piecemealed footage from like different sources, and what happens with a lot of these is there's often overlap. So like there, I think it's in Red. There's footage of a child's body that was like dumped in a river, and they're fishing it out, and it's gross. It looks like it's weird. And then I think Death Body, that same footage is there, and so it's like there's a lot of overlap. I went out of my way when I went to Germany last summer. I got like a boot of Death Farm 4, I think it was, and it was 45 minutes. Uh, there was four different things in there. Two of them were from Death Woman, which is another one of these things, but all dead women. Why would that exist? I don't know. And then I think Death Farm 1. The other two were from Death Farm 1. Or maybe it was Death Woman 2 that had footage from Death Farm 1. I don't... You see what I mean? It's a little annoying. They're fun. There's like a cheesy Japanese announcer in the Death File movies. Banned from Television. I really like Banned from Television. It's a lot like Faces of Death, but it's, as the title entails, things that were filmed for TV, like news stuff and whatever. It's a good one. Black Metal Veins, another Lucifer Valentine movie. I do like this documentary, but it is exploitative at best. I wish someone else directed it. If you took someone, I don't know. I hope none of these people that I'm talking about ever watch this video. And if you are, I'm sorry. If you took someone like Sam Hell and had Sam Hell direct Black Metal Veins, I think it'd be really good. You know? Yeah. Let's see. Buried in the Sand, I've heard a lot about. I think it's all like ISIS stuff, if I'm correct. I could be wrong though. I've not seen it. Acuivos de Morte Saga. I haven't seen that one. And The Dark Side of Porn. I haven't seen that either. All right. Second last here. This is like the weird porn one, and now the stick figure's not even a stick figure anymore. He's like a manatee. So, yeah, what do we have here? Gusu Milk 1 to 4. I've seen the first one. That's scat porn. It's Japanese scat porn. It's what you'd expect. There's a lot of poop. That one's funny because she covers herself in her own shit and walks around outside in public. Sadie Scream volumes 1 through 5. I have seen all of these, and it is not that worth it. I think they're porn and also like gore set piece kind of movies. You could argue a case for putting this in the tier with like My Chan and Tumbling Doll of Flesh and Woman's Flesh, My Red Guts. but it's porn also. Um, I think it was the second one's like a Saw ripoff, which makes it sound fun, but it's not. It's kind of lame. I think it was the third one was pretty good, and the fifth one I think was good if I remember, or parts of the fifth one were good. It's been a while since I've seen them. Um, Genki Genki, I've seen those. I've seen one of them at least. I might have seen two of them. These all blend together after a while. Um, it's also porn. This is all porn. Of like animals, but not what's her face? Not like Bodil Jens. I don't remember her. The like Norwegian or Nordic horse dog lady. You know who I'm talking about. No, it's like fish and lizards and frogs and snakes. Um, eh, it's fine. You feel bad for the animals. Um, Kuso Limitless is really fun. I like Kuso Limitless. It's very silly. It's like a catch-all, catch-22, whatever you want to call it. It's got everything. There's vomit, there's pee, there's shit, there's a vomit, and I love the vomit enema in that movie. It's really funny. She like they set up this big pool, and there's like multiple people, and they're all writhing around in this big pool of vomit, and then they funnel like a gallon of vomit into the girl, like in her rear, and she shoots it. I swear, like 7 feet out behind her. It's hilarious. It's really funny. And then she, this is more towards the beginning. She has like hors d'oeuvres, like crackers and such, and then a bowl of poop, like feces, and she's just spooning it and putting it on a cracker, like a little tapenade or like a tartare, and she's just eating. It's so funny. It's hilarious. Um, and then I have not seen the rest of these. What I'm surprised isn't on here is the GSKD movies, which are like blood and like harm fetish movies. Those are pretty good. They're really like an endurance thing to watch. You feel really exhausted. The third one is lame, but the first two are pretty cool. I don't know if I would ever watch them again. They're really slow. But yeah, I haven't seen Death to Kafar, Squirmfest, the KT trilogy, the Motel Files, and Other Random Cuts, Channel 309, nor have I seen No Vaseline, The Great Porn Swindle. So, sorry. So now we're at the last one, which it implies transcendence for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know why you would want to watch these. They're kind of lame, not fun. But these are mixtapes. And mixtapes are like contemporary, the contemporary equivalent of those movies like Death File, Death Woman, Death Body, etc., where it's just like clips. But these are like best gore clips. Like, you know, you go on like a gore website, or like, I don't know, Run the Gauntlet, etc. And they're all excessively long for no reason, like 3 hours. And for that reason, I've not really watched any of these. I've seen pieces of them. They're just not worth it. You can't really gain any entertainment from these. Like, and I don't, like, yeah. You've seen one ISIS beheading, you've seen them all. You know what I'm talking about. So there's, Fetus Munchers 1 and 2. Fubar, Ogreish Collection, Porn Gore, MD Pope, or Most Disturbed Person on Planet Earth. I can't say these last two; they're not in English, and I don't know how to pronounce them. And then, the big one, Snuff R73, and this is mainly why. So, I've seen Snuff R73, and I'm not talking about the 3-hour mixtape by Thomas Cinemagore, the MD Pope guy. He's weird. Again, sorry if you're watching this. I hope you're not. Please don't watch this. Please. No, I'm talking about the what's it called? It's like 10 minutes long. It's literally only 10 minutes long, the actual Snuff R73. And there's what's his name? Cinema's Underbelly. He made a good video explaining the difference between the two and why you shouldn't give a shit about Snuff R73, and you should watch it. I don't know if I can link other people's videos, but if I can, I will. But yes. So Snuff R73 is like a 10-minute little clip show of children who have been wounded in war, usually in like third world countries, and it's sad. It's hard to watch. It sucks. The thing about that little video is that it was being distributed by a group who was also distributing child adult content. I don't know if like saying that, you know what? Yeah. Like actual real videos of that. And so it is to be understood that the circulation of this video, Snuff R73, was meant to be used and consumed for the same purposes as those videos, for, sexual enjoyment. Which is terrible, and it makes me sick to think that people like that exist. And I feel when I originally watched this, I was under the assumption that this wasn't it, and that it was just like someone just making it up. And then when I found out that this was actually it, I felt kind of sick, knowing that. More of the context than the footage, I guess. Anyways, so because of that, then all of this misinformation was spread. It was like a game of telephone where it was like this big, it's like the next Daisy's Destruction, and it's this big like CP monster of a piece of media. And maybe I'll put it on here if I remember this stupid picture here of the like supposed cover of it, and there's like a blog post somewhere supposedly about it where they're like, this is the worst piece of thing like I've ever seen, it ruined my week or whatever. And I think they're talking about the 3-hour. I don't know. And I read that, and I've done research in this a little bit, and it's just like, it's so stupid I gave up. But that specifically because someone else made a video about this iceberg, and so that's it. That's the iceberg. So I'm gonna segue now into why I hate this. And I know you're thinking, Frank, you've seen like more than half of the stuff on here. How can you hate it? I don't hate the things on it, for the most part. I hate this. I hate this stupid picture, and I hate the stupid videos that were made about it. Mainly again, I'm sorry if you're watching this. This isn't a dig on you, but like mainly the big one that sent it into orbit. And if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. I don't want to say his name, but yeah. But a lot of misinformation in that video was spread about a lot of the films on this, particularly the last tier of all those shitty mixtapes, and specifically Snuff R73. And so then, everybody watched it, the video about this iceberg, and then we're running around trying to find where they could watch, um, you know, pornography involving minors. And you would go on Reddit, and you would there's like the disturbing movie subreddit, and there was like 2,000 members in it pre Iceberg video, and then post it like doubled, and there was posts from like fucking 14-year-olds on there. Where can I watch Snuff R73? Has anyone found it? And it was really like cringy and annoying. I don't mean to say cringy. That's rude. But it was just annoying, and it's like, you pace yourself. Read my Reddit post. It's in the description. I explained that very well. But this iceberg spread so much misinformation about these like genres of filmmaking, and it was really frustrating. And if you remember my video that I made reading my statement about those that a love letter to extremity paintings that I made, where I'm painting scenes from a lot of these movies, that was in like almost direct response to this, where there was so much misinformation being spread about these movies, where it was like, it's all real and we need to, like, I don't know, everything's an endurance test, and if it's not real gore and real porn, it's not worth it, and it's just stupid. And like, the artistic merit of a lot of the like simulated stuff was removed. And I mean, even the non-simulated stuff, there's like style to it, sure. And I wanted to reinstate that artistic merit, and I think that's what my statement said. And yeah, and it was hilarious, because when it came to my like defense, like thesis defense on that project, I had an upperclassman not ask me, it was more like they like accused me. They were like, almost all of this stuff is real, and you're glorifying non-consensual violence where people were actually harmed. And I can only assume it was because of this, and because this blew up on fucking TikTok, or what. The TikToks about this are even worse than that one video I'm talking about. Those are horrible. Those make me seethe with rage, because that is nothing but bait for children to like make them try to dig up like things that are gonna like traumatize them. I'm not saying don't watch this stuff. I'm not trying to gatekeep. I just like, take your time when you're getting into movies like this. I got into this stuff at a younger age too, but it's a whole thing. But yeah, that person like was accusing me of referencing people actually being killed and trying to glorify it, and that I got my research wrong in saying that I was reinstating artistic merit in simulated harm, or like gore, like gory movies, fake stuff. All of the things I painted were fake, and I shut that down, and I was like, no, I know what I'm talking about, and I can promise you everything I'm referencing here is fake. And I don't know where you heard that, but it is. I am proposing this concept because I firmly believe in it, and I have done my research, and I know what I'm talking about. And again, it's not to gatekeep, it's just it's frustrating. Yeah, I could talk forever. This video is almost an hour long already, but I just hate this iceberg. It's stupid. I kind of wish that it never existed, and and I tricked you because I made a video about the iceberg so that you'll click on it and actually listen to my criticism about it. But I still talk about the movies if you wanted to know about them. From someone who's actually seen a lot of them. I think that was another issue, is that the video that got this really like blown into orbit, that person didn't watch like half of the movies on here, and that's fine. I'm not saying you have to watch. I haven't seen everything on here, but like didn't know anything about the subcultures around like the weird Japanese porn stuff or the mixtapes. I don't even think they mentioned mixtapes at all, or maybe they did. But it was a less researched lens that it was looked through, and it's fine. I have nothing against that person. I'm gonna get myself killed. I've probably angered like several people that have direct ties to the content on this picture, and I'm sorry. Please don't. I'm just one person, and it takes a lot to make a movie. But yeah, so that's my video about the disturbing movie Iceberg. I don't like the disturbing movie Iceberg. I like disturbing movies. Read my Reddit post, and remember to smash that like and subscribe. And if you stuck around this whole time, you're awesome. You're cool. Thanks for listening to me talk about things that I'm passionate about. And I know I didn't really talk about art that much in this one. I did a little bit, but yeah. So maybe I'll edit the posters in. Bye.